What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Cilio's Network, the channel dedicated to providing you with competitive Pokemon TCG content. Today, I have some friends and fellow Pokemon TCG players here alongside me, and we're going to discuss the meta for Roanoke, Virginia Regionals, which is coming up next weekend, or this weekend. I don't know the exact date, but it's 2 days after Thanksgiving,
The
uh,
25th.
the 25th. And we
Yes,
just
sir.
had Latin America internets happen this past weekend, so we have a good sense of what the meta is going to look like and a lot of things to go off of. So we got Ryan Antonucci with the camera off. Next to him is Justin Commissar. Next to him, the hat is Arlo Neal. Underneath the hat is Michael Catron, and next to Michael is Ty. Um, First, we're just going to. I'm going to have the Day 2 Metashare from LAIC. I have that up. I'm just going to talk about all the decks, ask everybody what they think, if it's still good going into Roanoke, if just a bad deck, good deck, yada yada. So the top percentage at top 64 of LAIC, Zoro Rock had 20% of the Metashare. It was the number one deck for popularity. Arlo, start me off with Zoro Rock. What do you think about it? Is it good? Was it good? Is it bad now?
Zorok has always been one of those decks people kind of go to at the start of new formats just because it has its general consistency and aggression. I feel like since we saw the popularity of the Zoro control deck, being able to just take away at that Lycanroc 2 attachment makes it not as great, but its Malamar matchup is still very strong. But I think overall, just the popularity of Zoro control is just going to make it non-existent.
Word. Justin, what do you think?
In regards to Zoro Control, or Zoro Rock, we saw it become an archetype. I want to say Memphis last year,
Just
the
about a year
27th,
ago.
yeah, about a year ago. It came out swinging out of the gate. Um, and it's just one of those decks where it's always going to perform to expectations. There's never going to be a hiccup. You're always going to be able to You have bloodthirsty eyes, which is in this game a gust effect is always good, where you don't have to play a supporter. The damage output and the ability to, if you get off like a claw slash or a dangerous rogue on something, it's always going to put you, hopefully two prizes ahead. So I just think it's just middle of the road. It does what it needs to do well.
Do you think Zero Control is going to affect it?
Yes, because the issue is you have to attach to be able to take that Zoroark knockout, unless you can go, fighting energy, and if they're playing like Zoroark instead of Buzzrock, you attach the DC. But other than that, I don't think it's as favorable of a matchup if the Zoro control player is running at full capacity.
Word. Ryan, Zoro Rock.
A lot of people are gonna play it, and I think it's a good deck to go 6-2-1 with. But if you want to win the event, I don't think you should play it.
Ty.
That's it.
I mean, I don't know why, but everybody always plays that deck. It's always minimum 5 spots in day two. Everybody just plays that when they don't know what to do. So there's probably still gonna be a lot of them in day two, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna be in top 8.
It has a
Michael.
decent.
Sorry.
If they're, oh, sorry, I was just gonna add, if they're playing Diancie, if you're playing Zoro Rock and not Buzzrock or Buzzrock Tails, I think it has a decent one prize matchup, because you can do 110 plus. If you're playing Diancie, then that's 130, which hits Giratina. That hits
Every 130 attack.
yeah, that hits 130. So
So you need Giratina's resistance.
that's I was yeah,
You're
that's what
resistant.
So
Yeah,
Dancing
yeah.
Kukui. Still possible
Yeah,
in that
Diancie
deck.
Kukui. It's 130 is not a unachievable number
For that deck.
by any means. No.
Michael?
Um, Zoroark's kind of the safety deck for a lot of players because it always has the consistency, it always has the aggression, and a lot of formats like this one where they're still kind of new, and it'll just do what it needs to do every game, and it'll get there. And after LAIC, we saw Zoro Control really dominate, but a lot of the bad matchups for Zoro Control are the stage 2 decks, like the Sogaleo decks and Gardevoir and a couple other things. So Zoroark's aggression kind of lets it take a pretty favorable matchup against that. But the one matchup it doesn't really have a great answer to is Buzzwole, and Buzzwole's probably going to be pretty big, so I wouldn't play it for this event.
Yeah, we've been testing Ditto Naganadel and a Deoxys in Zoroark versus Buzzrock, and it's still not like close to 50-50. It's still pretty bad.
So bad, yeah.
Okay, what do we have next? Under that is Zoroark Decidueye, 11% of the day 2. Michael, start us off with Zoro Decidueye, including Ninetales, so all of the different builds of that deck.
I haven't really played Zoro Decidueye too much, but when it sets up, it's pretty hard to beat for anything. Zoro Control takes a pretty favored matchup because once the energies are gone, even if you have 3 Decidueye set up, you're not doing enough damage to anything to where they can't just chain Acerola enough to win the game. And, like, it's just an all-around very strong deck, but I think it kind of lacks in a consistency where most Zoroark decks have. The Ninetales definitely helps that, but it's a trade-off you have to take. That deck.
Arlo, what do you think about Zoroark Decidueye? Is it still a good play for Roanoke?
I would say so, just because, like Michael said, when it gets set up, it's really hard to beat. And from what we've seen in previous results after a giant tournament, is that the most popular deck just doesn't show up as much as it's being countered, or people think they're going to get countered. And I think Zoroark Decidueye will be a very strong showing still, just because we saw it's like a new archetype, and people love playing Decidueye.
It kind of got replenished, right?
Yeah, and we saw the Ninetales version, and we saw the weird one that got top 8. That was similar to Danny Altavia's video he made a couple days before LIC.
He ran
without
zero
any
Ninetales.
I'm looking at it. Sorry, go ahead.
It was not playing any Elm. It was playing just 4 Lily, and then 4 Nest Ball, 4 Great Ball, 4 Ultra Ball. I think we'll see that one is a little more popular just because it can chain knockouts versus control. And I have to worry about getting a separate stage 1 setup in Ninetales as well.
Yeah, it sets up a board state. It's more of like a run hot stage 2 type deck, whereas Ninetales is more setup based in my opinion. Because Ninetales, it's like you're trying to guarantee having something on turn 2. And with that deck, you're like, all right, let's see how many evolutions I can get on the board turn 2.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't want to spend too much time on every deck. Did anybody else have something different to say about Zoro Decidueye?
No.
It loses to Zoroark.
Yes.
Yeah, it's unfavorable.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Destroys it.
So Ryan, I'll let you go with Zoro Control. That took 9% of day 2. It won the event. It had multiple top 8 spots. I know you and I played this a lot in Worlds format, but how do you think Zoro Control is right now?
I think the top players are still probably going to play it, but only the top players will do well with it. It's like any average player plays it, I think they're just not going to do well at all.
100%.
Does anyone disagree?
I completely agree with that.
No, I think that's the sentiment for most of the most competent players going forward. Is you can net deck it, you can net deck Danny's list all you want, but the skill ceiling for it is incredibly high. I mean, one misplay and then that'll just shift the entire game.
Yeah, it's very true.
So while we're on the topic of Zoro Control, do you think people are going to pick it up and play it poorly, or do you think they're just going to leave it to the top players?
Yes.
Absolutely.
There's going to be a lot of people playing it, but a lot of people will do bad with it.
I disagree. I think I'm going to play against maybe one the whole day. I don't think anyone's going to bring it. I think people are going to expect it to be countered by Buzzwole in the stage 2 decks, and then other people are just going to figure out that they cannot play it correctly, so they won't touch it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I tend to agree with Michael, so I don't think it's going to be non-existent. I do think some people that aren't at the level of Danny and his teammates that played it will still play it. But also,
Yeah.
you have to think you don't want to play all those Zoro control mirrors, right? Like, so
Mhm.
if you have a group of 8 people and they're like, let's all play Zoro control, and you're talking to a friend group and they all want to play Zoro control, you kind of get that consensus where maybe I don't want to be hitting all these mirrors all day. Roanoke, I don't think is going to be too huge of a pull, so like a solid amount of people could be making mirror matches more and more possible. I definitely think mirror matches for that is desensitizing to play the deck. If I said that word
Mhm.
right. Uh,
Yeah.
Mhm.
does anyone disagree? Do you think the mirror like can just be easily countered, or
I think a couple Fabas in there could do some work, but overall, it's just going to tie every single time.
Mhm.
yeah? All right.
I'm
Because
pretty sure,
go ahead.
I'm pretty sure every mirror that played out that wasn't an ID finished.
Mhm.
I don't think any of them actually tied because the way the matchup goes is like, especially now with if they add Faba, it's never going to tie. Someone's going
Mhm.
to find a way to win the game.
Whoever hits the Faba first and chains it better.
Yeah. And then it'll get to a point where like both people are trying to be conservative, and then like you can also do something like if they have a couple energies left, you can like land a skull grunt
Hmm.
if they have
Mhm.
Yeah.
if they don't resource any, then you land a skull grunt and hammer their active, and then they also just lose from that. Like
Mhm.
there are a lot of ways the matchup can go, and I don't think anyone would want to play that.
It's pretty much whoever provides the other player with the first hiccup. Whoever gets a bigger skull grunt, like Michael just said, whoever gets the bigger skull grunt off, whoever can, knock out the guru in the active, and then they can't find the stretcher, in time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of feels like the luck factor that was in the World's format control mirror, where it was red card delinquent, and if you hit 2 of the
Oh,
puzzles off that delinquent, then you win. That
yeah.
kind of thing. So yeah, mirror match definitely not pleasurable.
I think the people who will win the mirror match are people who are taking out the rainbow energy for water energy.
Hmm.
Well, that's
Yes,
interesting.
that
For
taking out Rainbow and Fableize definitely helps the mirror.
what energy? Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Water for Articuno GX.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. But then you have to think: is it worth teching for the mirror, which is probably 5% of the meta, or do you want to just keep the deck consistent? You know.
I was speaking. I mean, it's not going to be seen. I think the
Mm.
people I'm not going to name any names, but I was speaking to some people who I respect, and it was either the consensus, and we can talk about this later. Going forward, it's either a lot of aggro, or the people who are playing control will play it well.
It's true.
Yeah. I don't
I mean, I
disagree.
feel like even if the good players bring control again, there are going to be people like Alex Shemansky and Ian Robb who stick to the fighting decks that they've been playing for like a year now,
Yeah.
and they're going to beat it again. So like, the top players will have to look at it from a perspective of
Hmm.
can we take a loss to these players as well?
It's a reason
And
that.
I don't think they're going to play Zoro Control again because they're expecting more counters to it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, if
I
I
think
had
they
to,
might
if I had to
switch
pick one, I would be saying they're not coming with Zoro Control again, but the copycats will have Zoro Control, and those are the ones you
Hmm.
worry about.
Yeah, I think the pros are going to choose Bust Rock Tails or just Bust Tails for this event.
Hmm.
Yeah, it seems really solid. Okay. So next we have Blacephalon Naganadel with 8%, right behind Zoro Control. So I think that's about, well, maybe I forget how many each percent counts for. These percent count for. I'm not sure, but 8% Blacephalon Naganadel. There was a solid amount in day two. Ty, why don't you take this one?
Uh, I mean, it's like a cool deck idea. I thought the choice helmet was pretty neat, but I don't know. I don't like the deck after watching like Szymanski 201 in like 20 minutes. Not worth playing for me.
Anybody like clowns?
So, you and I have talked about this in private, Luke. I think going into this, um, there's going to be a lot of people playing it. I think that now we've seen it in action in a large format setting. It has now become less of a theory and a pipe dream, and more of like it's like a realistic expectation of how this thing can perform. in people not just testing with it.
Mhm.
I think the addition of E-switch, not only for control but just for just period. E-switch is really important. I would add personally an escape rope. I saw Team MCR out of the UK. He plays 2 in his. I just think it's a deck that, just like Ray, had to be figured out
Yeah.
in stages.
Mhm.
And also at LAIC, we saw like no Sceptile, and people were like really scared of that for some reason. I thought that the only Executor Sceptile deck was going to be like a big thing.
If you're a Blacephalon player and you so happen to run into Sceptile round 1 or 2, I'm sorry, but under no circumstances should you tech for that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the Plumeria is a cool idea, like you knock off like a DC or like a Fighting Energy on something in the like the backboard, but other than that, you just shouldn't worry about Sceptile in that specific instance.
I agree.
Yeah, if you run into a Sceptile after round 3, you're probably like not even in contention for day 2 anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's true.
Like, so the way I'm looking at Blacephalon the Ganondel, everyone was saying, how can this even top an event with, like, Grand Bull and Executor and, like, these one prize decks that have obvious advantages over it. But we had Vikaray be the top, if not the top deck for so long in our Sun and Moon through CST format, with one prize decks around and with people teching fairy attackers for it. And it still did really well, just because it sets up turn 2 and puts out a massive amount of damage.
Yeah, but to that point, it's also this sets Ray. I mean, if you Cynthia into four fire energy and like a nag and something else, and then you go bursting burn or whatever it's called, and put the 20 in confuse and cross your fingers that they don't have something to completely just mess you up with.
Yeah,
the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that Ray was easily adaptable, just because you could play stuff like Shining Lugia and that Delmise that I think Gatron made up. Did you make that up? I thought that was you.
Christian Franco.
Yeah, but just because Vikavolt has the ability to just attach anywhere on the board, and Blacephalon does not, just to Naganadel, I feel like it won't be as popular versus. I mean, not that great of a matchup versus the one prize decks as Ray could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ray definitely had more ability to adapt. Justin messaged me a few hours ago and was like, "So what one prizers can we put in Blacephalon?" I'm like,
I was thinking about it.
I'm pretty sure there's none.
There's no
Entei's rotated, fam.
There's no viable Ultra Beast that you could even beast ring onto to slot in there. Like nothing's fire or nothing runs for colorless. So,
does anyone have differing opinions on Blasef that we haven't said? We haven't mentioned.
It's really easy if you're playing like Alolan Ninetales with something to make them just not even be able to use Beast Ring.
Yeah,
you're like using Decidueye or something.
Yeah, the Zoroark Decidueye Ninetales deck just absolutely demolished a couple of Blacephalons on stream just by making them miss Beast Ring turns.
Yeah, you can hit a one prizer and then go from 5 to 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Next is Grand Bull, also at 8%, tied with Blasef. Who wants to talk about Grand Bull? Who's tested it?
I haven't tested it. I'll talk about it.
Okay.
I think Grand Bull's a very, very good deck, but it's in a terrible spot for this tournament.
I agree with that 100%.
Every Zoroark variant that's good, the Decidueye, Lycanroc, and Control, which are the main 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you might find a Gliscopod somewhere, but all 3 of those decks have a plan against it. Almost all 3 play Muck sometimes, except Decidueye usually doesn't. But they can all target your Macargos and your Orangarus and just stop you from attacking. You have a heart. You really can't kill Zoroarks efficiently, unless you can get Shrine to stick for a turn or 2.
You have to. Go ahead. Sorry.
And then they trade too well against you for you to really be able to do anything.
Yeah, I've played, I'll say a decent amount of games with it, nothing to write home about, but the issue I found is you'll either have a choice band and you don't have the shrine, or vice versa. You never have like that deck is constantly you're constantly worrying about your hand that your board state is almost supplementary.
Yeah, and I think well, the same reason we stood for Zero Control is that Grand Bull is like a very hard deck to play, just because you have to think about so many things at once. That's why we saw Tord Reklo do so well with it, and I think people will figure out that they can't like do it as well as the people who are on the stream or who made top 8 at the event as they did with Grand Bull, and we'll see that they'll just not play it.
Yeah, like it looks like I'm looking at Granville, like Nicholas Galaz, who got second place after the movements. Yeah, after the DQ, well, after the movements. I know he beat Caleb in top 8.
Yeah.
Does anyone know the specifics of that match?
There was a penalty given at some point. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Caleb made like a double supporter. It was like a double prize penalty.
That'll do it. So basically, the Gramble took 2 prizes naturally or something like that. Got some more given to him by prizes. Maybe Caleb had a bad game on the other one.
It's what I think that is what Gramble is most susceptible isn't your hand or isn't taking knockouts. It's the fact that you can just stick something in the active and then just go, all right, call it a day.
Oh yeah. Like
if you see like 2 Guzmas a switch and like a Palpad in the discard for Gramble, you can just like with Zorak or like Buzzrock, you can just corner up Macargo. And as long as you play Cynthia, like they don't have any shuffle draw, so. Even if you have less cards in your deck, you can play Cynthia and they can't. So they'll just win that way.
It's absolutely detrimental to that deck's functionality.
Yeah. So
if you just stick a Guru in the active. Yeah, if I just Guzma or Bloodthirsty Eye a Guru in the active, I could just sit there and go, I'm gonna make you waste your resources for 2 turns while I set up, and then I'll flip my switch, and then we'll just call it. Just shake my hand.
So when I first built the deck, I was really determined to get really good with it because I knew it had a high skill ceiling, high skill floor. Like you weren't doing anything with the deck if you didn't do it right. So I felt like I had a good grasp on it, and then I realized Zoroark, like an average Zoroark player, can just say Bloodthirsty Eyes right as beating the Mycargo, and then Bloodthirsty Eyes right as beating your Guru, and then if you play Zubstrika. And then the Zubstrika comes in because people are playing Muck, and then you have to play Zubstrika if you want to draw any cards. So I felt like I was trying to master this deck to even be able to function with it, while other people can just counter me by making obvious plays.
Yeah.
Does anyone think it's a good call, or bad call, or neutral call?
It's a bad call.
I'm on a different. I think. If it's just going to be a luck sack. Like, if you can play it well and hit those right matchups, then I think you'll be okay. But I think you need those 2 things going for you. You can't do it with one or the other.
Yeah, you have to play it well, and you have to hit the ones that kind of fall to 1 prize attackers.
Pretty much.
I think, like, 2's going to make day 2. Maybe, like, 1's going to make top 4 or top 8.
Yeah, I think there'll be a couple Grand Bowl day 2.
I think that's just if it runs very hot and piloted by someone who's been playing solitaire with it for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we're just going to hit God matchups.
Is it anyone's top choice here?
No.
Next, also tied at 8%, is Malamar Giratina. I know at least 2 of these were spread variants, but I feel like one might have been Gas Canish with a Giratina in it, but it just says Malamar Giratina. So Malamar variants. Ryan.
It gets destroyed by Zoroark, and other than Zoroark Control, it just gets destroyed by like any Zoroark deck pretty much, and it's like barely favored versus Control, I think.
It's only favored versus Control if like Rukin's playing it with his 200 IQ and his techs. Like, like I thought about it. I was like, because he told me how to beat Control, and then I thought about it. I was like, I'm not beating Control that way. Maybe you can, but I'm not.
Yeah, and it doesn't like really beat anything else. Like it doesn't beat it beats Buzzwole, but nothing else really.
It doesn't even convincingly beat Buzz anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
55-45, 60-40 probably.
Like
Mhm.
my whole reason I even thought about it, like Sunday, was like, oh, Alex did well with Buzzwole. People are gonna hop on Buzz because they love saying Jet Punch. And then I thought about it.
Yep.
Wait, they have Ninetales and Lycanroc now, and both are like really efficient attackers. They can one-shot things in our deck. That's probably not a good idea.
I've been playing Malamar for a majority of this season, and I do agree with the Zoroark matchups, but I feel like just because the Malamar list, not the spread one, but the gas one with the 2 Marshadow GX, you can still just Guzma every single turn and just knock out a Zoroark. That's how I've been just beating Control. Like, they can't just get anything stuck in the active for like that long.
Yeah, so you can be controlled that way, especially because most controls aren't playing a damage modifier, so they can't one-shot your Marshadow.
Yeah.
And you can also, you can beat other Zoroark decks like that. It's just the chances that they will win the prize race is usually better because they're also picking off your Malamars in the process. But you
Are you
can
talking
beat it.
about Control versus Gas Can?
Either Control versus Gascan or Zoroark versus Gascan.
Well, they play Muck, so it shuts off the Shadow and the Giratina. So
Oh,
it's
right.
not that bad.
So then you have to get around. You have to Guzma that up and kill that too.
Yeah.
You have to take you have to waste an entire turn killing a single prizer,
They
which
have to
puts,
kill
which puts you on odd pricing.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
If you can get like a turn 2 Chimecho against Thor Control though,
Yeah,
they're
Chime.
in pretty bad.
Oh yeah, that's how I've been beating it as well. Like Malamar's my top choice, and just because like having the skateboards in favor of the Shrine deck, just playing like switches or something. You still have the access to heavy attackers like Necrozma, Dawnwings, and then the Marshadow GX. But you also have possibilities to get Chime in the active, which are very good versus the unfavorable matchups in Zork and Decidueye.
I mean, even like the thought process behind it is like you try and like get off a Black Ray and just pray that they're not going to go Max Pot Acerola, and then there goes 200 damage, like, which is going to happen. Like most of the time, they're going to be sitting on those 2 cards.
It's true.
Like I like the idea of Chime because so you can stall them until you're at a point where hypothetically you can stall them from playing down their ability Pokemon until you have your board set up, and then hope you have the gas to go from there. But you can even get hit.
That's That's a big if though.
You can even get hit with like a Rogue Judge, and after you get set up or something like that. I do think.
The
is...
Naganadel in Zoroark is also really good against Gascan. You just like charge up DC and you one shot a Marshadow, and then
isn't the Muck just always better though?
I don't play Muck in Zoroark, but if you did, it could be.
Yeah. I think with the influence of Ditto Prism Star, it makes the Gascan matchup way easier for Zoroark because all 3 times I played it at Cups, I just annihilated it. I don't know how, but I feel like Muck is just like a huge problem.
Yeah, for sure.
For Gascan.
I think Gascan, like Malamar, is obviously like it's a functional archetype. Like it's obviously good, but I don't think it's anywhere near it was before.
It's back to like Zoroark. It's a consistent deck that like if you can get your train moving, it's going to do well.
Yeah.
I think Malamar's really bad. I don't actually know like what you're beating. Like Buzzwole's not a great matchup. Like it's favored, sure, but like it's not great. Grand Bull definitely can beat you. Decidueye is not a great matchup. Well, any Zoroark's matchup's a pretty bad matchup. Gardevoir is not that favored, if favored at all. Any Solgaleo build seems pretty bad for you. Like, just everything just doesn't seem good for it in this format. Like, you beat Blacephalon, but that's about it.
And the Rogovika race we might have floating around.
Yeah.
If that. You beat Blacephalon if that. Like, it's a decent matchup for you.
Yeah.
Blacephalon can definitely steal wins. Like, actually, I don't even think you beat Blacephalon because they just go with a Naganadel and you have to attack with Tina as your only option.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does. Malamar, like I said before, the Trimecho has really helped in line testing versus Decidueye and Zoroark. like archetypes. It's just allowed me to get like 3 or 4 Malamar set up. I can just chain one shots with the Necrozma and just being able to load up a bunch of energy on them.
Yep.
But you're not guaranteed to get the chime every single turn, so that's why
Yeah.
I still think those variants are still favored.
Word. Anything else on Malamar? Oh, does anyone like the spread variant more than the gas can variant?
I like the theory behind it.
Yeah.
If you hit a draw supporter every turn, it sounds nice, but you don't.
Yeah.
If you had a way, if I had a way to every turn to be like DCE, 2 psychic energy on Shining Lugia, and just keep cycling that through, but that's never how it works.
Yeah. It's kind of like the new format Greninja, in my opinion.
Oh no, I like playing that deck. Spell Tag's pretty fun.
I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think like it is.
I mean,
what it is.
I think Gazcan has a better Zoroark matchup, but I don't think you're beating Zoroark anyway, so I'd play the spread version.
Fair enough. I mean, they're also Blacephalon's playing Lysander Labs.
Yeah.
DDG's list had, I think, 1 or 2 Lysander Labs in it. That essentially just nulls. Let's call it 4, 8, 6. That's 160 damage.
Yeah, if you got all 4 spell tags off.
If all 4 of your spell tags go off, that's 160 damage that's negged.
Yeah.
Oh, just wanted to add something for like the spread deck versus Zoroark. I played Zoroark at a League Challenge, and I started Lele and went draw, pass, draw, Acerola, pass. And then after that, I used my Lele that I Acerola to get a Mallow, and the game wasn't even close. I destroyed him. So that's
maybe they're just bad, Arlo.
Yeah, that just sounds like they're bad.
That could be.
maybe.
Alright, let's get off of Malamar. Not tier 1, I don't think. Rayquaza Vikavolt. Has anyone here played that recently?
I did.
Yeah, I played it at Philly, and I got, I think, 90th place.
Okay, points with Ray. Arlo, go ahead. How do you think it's positioned?
It's just a worse Blacephalon. It takes more to get set up, and it does the same amount of damage. The only thing it has going for it is not an Ultra Beast, so stuff like Sceptile can't just obliterate it. Even if that, it's just like, why would you play it when there's a deck that does the same thing better?
I don't know if Blacephalon does it better. Because like we said...
needs 2 energy attachments.
Yeah, that is true.
You take a super favored control matchup with Vigorate.
Yeah. Vigorate does kind of have a very dark matchup.
But then you also just 100, like, without a doubt, almost lose to, like, Shrine decks. Like, me and Luke been playing Ray versus Shrine for a while, and you have to pray that you don't start. Like, you start a Ray, and, like, I played it in Memphis. I didn't do well with it. I had a shitty list, but I played against someone who was playing Getamer's Shrine list, and it was even close when I didn't have a single GX on the board. It's just...
Yeah.
But I do like Ray because it's adaptable, whereas Blasef isn't.
Yeah, the Shining Lugias really do pull their weight in the Shrine matchups.
100%.
Yeah.
That's why they were $25.
Yeah. Now they're 8, and I just bought them.
A lot of Ninetales and Guardy, which is scary though.
Yeah, I think Ray's really bad. I think OO and Ninetales just kind of smacks it. I think Guardy's going to be pretty big, which is going to smack it. I think that Zoroark's a bad matchup because they're going to be able to kill your Vikavolts and your Grubbins. I think Buzzrock's going to, even if they're not playing Ninetales and Buzzrock for some reason, they're going to kill your Vikavolts and Grubbins.
Yeah, I think Buzzrock just absolutely obliterates the Vika.
It's the same thing as it's got a higher. I think it's got a more adaptable and a more adaptable matchup possibility, but it also takes that it's a candy deck. Anything that runs candy without the addition of Ninetales, you're kind of up a creek.
Yeah,
that's true.
Does anyone like Vigorate better than Blacephalon, Roanoke?
No. I like Bulu better than Vigorate, honestly.
But do you like Bulu better than Blacephalon?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next we have Buzzrock.
He's trying to hold in a smile.
We have Buzzrock. Buzzrock, we've been talking about a lot as a reason to not play other decks. It only took
Um,
5%.
I'll start this one off, and I'll just say, Ian Rubb takes first seed with what 801 at the end of day one
He was
with it.
8-1.
He lost one.
8-1, 8-1. Okay.
You lost to Danny, I think.
But regardless, taking 8 wins, that's fantastic. I think it's poised in a position right now that's really good because people are playing stage 2s. And if you miss that stage 2, then your 60 HP Rowlet or your 70 HP Rockruff on the bench now becomes a Jet Punch target.
Yep.
And then since now with the addition of playing 4 B strings in it, if you're playing like Buzzrock, there's that pseudo acceleration because you drop that 9 tails, go get 2. There goes 2 back-to-back knuckle impacts. So that's, let's call it a knockout. They take a knockout, you take a knockout, and hopefully you're ahead in the prize trade.
Yeah.
Ty, Buzzrock Tails or Buzz Tails?
I like the catcher more.
What was it?
The catcher, the one with the.
Okay,
Yeah.
so no Lycanroc.
Yeah, I just think that card's also like the first effect is really good too. Like it's like a bike. Remember that card?
Yeah.
Drops or it's like a double card. It's gonna
Yeah.
Wait, what does the first effect do?
Draw until you have
draw.
3.
Yeah.
You have 3 in your hand.
Oh, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can like draw out of stuff like that, and I don't know. I like the Lycanroc, but usually like I'd rather get a Vulpix like off Brooklyn Hill or something else.
Or Zygarde.
Yeah.
If you're expecting a lot of Malamar, then you should play Lycanroc.
Yeah, the Lycanroc helps against Malamar and usually Zoroark, because Zoroark becomes a little bit less 100-0 when you have catchers instead of Lycanroc. And then, yeah, I don't know. I thought if Vikare is popular, which I don't think it is, I thought it had a bad matchup for Buzzrock at like Memphis, but with the 9-tails, it's really favored now.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're the one who
Go ahead.
popularized the Zygarde GX and the Buzzwole variants. Do you still think that's like a good thing to play now that Zoroark controls the thing? Just getting 2 energies back and be able to one-shot a Zoroark?
I was thinking about it, but probably not. I mean, you'd probably like maybe if you started it and like had the DCE, then you'd be controlled. But like, it just seems like too much.
Yeah.
Arlo, have you tested either of the variants?
I tested a little bit of Buzzrock Tails, and I found the deck was very strong, but the Bucefalo matchup was for some reason like a little tricky for me. Maybe I wasn't like playing the right list, but I still feel like the deck is very, very strong and even has a favorable matchup, even like Katron was talking about. So I feel like it will be the top pick among players for this event.
Michael, Buzzrock Tails or Buzz Tails, and why?
I'd just play just 9-tails. I think Lycanroc's a little bit too much going on in one deck.
Okay.
And then, but I think it's probably one of, if not the best play for the event, because it's just it's a fallback deck for a lot of players because they played Buzzwole all last season.
Yeah.
But the aggression of being able to hit 80 damage on turn 1 with Lucia is pretty insane.
Oh, yeah.
The option to use 9-tails as a gust effect and have it as an acceleration effect is pretty insane. Sublimation adds a nice touch to the deck where you can just take a knockout out of nowhere using a multi-switch or an energy switch or something. And it just has a lot of options in it that other decks can't really handle too well because you're so aggressive and they cannot respond to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll talk about the intricacies of the decks later, but I just wanted to clarify, if we're putting Buzz Tails and Buzzrock Tails as the same deck, then it had an 8% meta share, so it was tied with some of the previous ones we talked about.
Yeah.
Zoroark 9-tails, I believe all of the variants were Zoroark Tails with Weavile, but some of them might have just been Zoroark Tails. Does this variant have any validity, Ryan?
I actually don't like 9-tails and Zoroark. I don't know if I'm wrong about that, but I don't know. I just don't like 9-tails with it unless you're playing Decidueye. If you're playing like a stage 1, I think you're just better off just playing that stage 1. Like if you're playing Weavile, like play like Banette or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Justin?
Yeah.
I'm with Ryan on that one. I think I've expressed this opinion before to you, Luke.
Mhm.
I might just be. I'm probably just bad, but I don't see the synergy. I don't see what you're grabbing, like besides like a choice band or a custom catcher or something like that. Besides, like even sublimation, like either like counter catcher or sublimation.
Yeah. I feel like it would be what
Who's echoing? Someone's echoing.
I feel like Ninetales.
Someone's mic is.
Do
Do you guys hear that?
you guys hear that? Yeah.
Yeah, we all hear it.
Everyone like disconnect.
Yeah.
Check. Sorry about that, guys. Check. Okay, it's not happening.
It's not happening.
Not happening. Justin.
What's happening?
Is it happening?
No, it's fine now.
Okay.
But we're
Okay,
missing
good.
Justin. There he is.
Okay.
Check. Okay, we're
Check.
good. I don't know what happened.
All right, we're good.
So we were talking about Zorak Ninetales Weavile, and Justin, you were saying you don't see the synergy between Ninetales being in a Zorak deck. That's
Yeah,
not to
I
say
just-
why.
Yeah, it's just like, so the whole point, I guess the whole point of it was to go get candy, like Beacon get candy, or Beacon get the Pokemon, drop it, get candy, continue. But
Yeah.
I'm probably wrong.
I don't think
but
you're
I
wrong,
just-
because I don't like it in Zorak decks either, outside of Decidueye.
I just don't see it.
Does anyone
Yeah,
like
what are
Zorak
you even
Ninetales?
grabbing?
No, I think Ninetales is pretty bad in non-candy decks
Yeah.
or puzzle.
Or non-B-string deck. Like, you have something that's so critical to hit.
Yeah.
In Zorak, you're grabbing Enhanced Hammer sometimes. Maybe Counter Game.
It's a cute tech, but I'd rather just play like it's a cool attacker too, but like I'd rather
Not
just play
even.
Macargo.
It's just like a worse Macargo.
It's there for If it's there for sublimation, then I understand the reasoning, but I still don't think it's worth the spots.
Your sublimation, if that's the entire reason you're playing it, okay,
You
can
can just-
enjoy the two.
You could Dangerous
Enjoy the
Rogue, you know?
Enjoy the two prizes while and then you said Dangerous Rogue. Enjoy the two prizes that you took on my whatever. Then I'm gonna turn around, drop my B strings, and then Guzman kill your 200. Like 200 is an easy number. The reason that Zoroark I think is where it is, besides like the umpteenth other reasons, is that 210 is not an easy number. 200, the 10 HP is such a difference.
I mean, it did win a 200-person League Cup that had a lot of good players, and it made 3 day 2s, I think, just like with Ninetales alone. So maybe we're wrong. I think we're not, though. I think we're right.
I think we're
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
Does anyone disagree with the general consensus? Okay, great.
I never know, like, I always find myself when I have all the Ninetales, like, what do I grab?
Yeah. I thought
Yeah,
it
there's
sounded
nothing
like
to
a
get.
cool
There's
idea.
literally nothing to get.
If Puzzle were in format, my god, that deck would be busted.
Yeah, puzzle would be great, and
Yeah,
probably
that'd be-
break the game.
Glad that it's banned.
Yeah.
Leave it dead. Leave it dead.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's-
so we're coming up on the last few parts of the pie chart here. Gardevoir, there was a Gardevoir that wasn't Robin Scholl's deck, and there was the Robin Scholl's Gardevoir special with Solgaleo GX 2/1/2 Swampert. The 9. It was an absolute masterpiece. What does everyone think about it?
Robin
The
Schultz
Deutsche
has the
special.
biggest balls.
Yeah. So is anyone considering the deck? Let's start there.
I am,
No,
yeah.
I'm considering Gardevoir. Yeah.
Me too.
If someone handed me the right list, I would definitely play Guardy because it has a decent control matchup. If you can trade first, then I think you're okay because that sends them scrambling. Because on top of Secret Spring and Twilight GX, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arlo,
I mean,
you said that you were considering it.
Yeah, it's just like I play a lot of Guardy like in the past,
Mhm.
like when I first started like playing competitively. So it's a close to home deck that I really enjoy playing, and it's just like the meta that it's in specifically right now. Like not too much, just overwhelm it. Like in the past, there was always the problem of just trying to find your rare candies and your stage twos and all your energy. But now that we have like Nine Tails and Swampert for the extra draw, we can get that up consistently, and it kind of fixes all the problems Guardy once had. But
Do
I
you
still feel like it just doesn't have a favorable Buzzwole matchup still.
um Yeah, and I think that's the biggest drawback is the issue of a favorable buzz, because even if you sublimation, then they're just gonna, like I said, B string, and just start smacking. Like there's
I feel like the non-Lycanroc variants have a worse Gardevoir matchup. Just like Lycanroc in general kind of hit its Guardy's general strategy.
Yeah. I think it could handle Buzz Tails because you're also playing the Solgaleo, and if you get
Yeah.
that set up, you have Guzma DCE for free kills whenever they evolve a Ninetales.
Yeah.
Uh, I played a bit of the deck before Robin's list was out, so it's actually like 4 cards off of his, but I just built it because I liked the idea when I saw it on stream. And it was really really good when you get like 2 or 3 of your stage twos out. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think
Um,
another thing it has going for it is that it's not like sleeved up on everybody's table at home, and it's not something they're testing against.
Yeah.
Not everybody at this tournament's even going to know the list. You know, like some people are still going to be surprised when you slap down the Solgaleo GX.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
it's
thing
actually
is,
true.
I think what on top of the ability for it to recycle stuff, it's just beefy.
Yeah,
Like it's just really beefy.
and has Solgaleo
Yeah.
GX heal everything.
Yes, 230s, 230 and 230, 250 and 160
On
on a
each.
basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are just beefy numbers that, you're going to struggle to hit.
Yeah.
Especially like in my head I've been running down the matchups. It's like Blacephalon has to discard what, 6 energy if I'm
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry, 5. 5 energy.
To kill any of them.
To kill anything, because you don't have weakness. It doesn't really matter. So,
It's
yeah.
Does anyone think Guardy is a bad play for Roanoke?
No.
Guardy's pretty good. I think I'd play almost
Yeah, I
exactly
like it.
this list.
I wouldn't play it.
And why
I
is
just
that?
don't like stage 2 decks without Zorak in it.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah,
the
and don't
same
play
reason
that
I wouldn't.
that other Gardevoir, that new one. That card's really bad.
You're right.
That card's
trash.
actually terrible.
Baby Guardy,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like so bad.
I think sucks.
It hits 180 with a band. No, 190
Stop.
with a band. It's
I
190
do
with
feel
a
like
band.
Guardy list does have to play like maybe a switch or two, just because we saw on stream the control players are just like Guzma Swampert, and you have 3 retreat costs on that guy. So I feel like having more just mobility in the deck will make it a very strong play for Roanoke.
The list is so tight on space though.
It is.
Maybe like cut a March Tomp for one.
I just cut out the Solgaleo line. I don't know if that's correct or not, but it's just like I just haven't used it.
I haven't done enough testing with I built it online, but I haven't done enough testing, so I'm in the same boat as you, Arlo.
I don't know if you already lose to Gramble, but without Solgaleo, I'm pretty sure you just auto lose to Gramble.
No, I
So
think,
that's the sole reason I wouldn't play the deck in the first place, just because the card's like just insane.
yeah, Soul
Yeah,
Golem's
that's
a great
busted.
card. Okay, so after that, we have Passimian Tapu Koko. We don't need to analyze this deck. It's pretty basic.
Where's
deck.
Peter?
Yeah, we don't have Peter in the call. Ty, Passimian Tapu Koko.
I don't think it's that bad. I like the Coco Lock part of it. I
Does
think
it-
that's pretty.
Does it beat Buzzwole? Does it lose? Is it even?
No, it can't be Buzzwole, but
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, you can beat a lot. Well, actually, I don't know, because I know I was watching Gustavo like body one on stream, but I think that if you go in without the Buzz GX and you go with like 9 tails instead and start spreading stuff, taking multiple prizes in one turn, then you're fine. But if you go for the like Jet Punch, like with only like Buzz GX, then you're gonna lose because you're gonna get killed by Deoxys.
My problem with Passimian, I think it might be slightly favored versus Buzzwole due to you're hitting the Buzzwoles fairly hard every time you have an energy attachment for Coco, and they're I'm sorry, for Passimian. You're playing down shrines to spread damage around. On the turns you don't Passimian, you're using Coco, and then you can just clean up your last 4 prizes with a Fairy Tapu Lele, especially since the lists that we're seeing popularized for Buzz are not playing Acerola.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So if you play,
Don't give away the secret tech.
bad will overbench against Fred, and you can steal so many wins by doing that.
Yeah.
Like your up Meg Cargo or something, and like keep spreading. Like you get 2-3 turns to spread, like against everything.
Yep,
that's true.
So it's Passimian Coco on anyone's top 3 considerations to play?
Probably not.
Cool. Okay, and then in the other, there was Glaceon Zoroark GX. There was...
That is, so, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm going to have to do the math on this, I think that has squeaked into almost every single standard tournament in, like, the last year. Someone has squeaked into day 2 with this deck.
Yeah,
with, like, I think, what was it, Charlotte last year, someone got, like, 13th place playing it with, like,
Patrick Robinson
he goes
got
to Cups
in that
by
Charlotte
Ryan and us.
Yeah, we also saw Otto, who's part of Mahone's crew, make top 8 at Charlotte with that list.
Someone top 16 Memphis this year with it, I think.
Yeah, they got 32, but yeah, it was in Memphis.
Yeah, that was funny.
So let's just take like 30. Let's just take 30 seconds to say, like, like when the card came out, there were like it was like a $28 card because it's one of those like super great theory cards. Like, oh, you stop Lele, you stop this, you stop whatever, but then you go water energy DCE. Oh wait, now it's dead.
Yep.
It can't be Buzzwole. Even if Buzzwole has a little Ninetales in it and that's its engine, you just say Jet Punch for 80
punch,
like a million times.
Jet Punch. Jet Punch.
It's just like Jet Punch to infinity, and then Glaceon loses.
Literally, so they go Jet Punch for 1, and you go 90 for 2, but technically 3.
It's always working on Buzz's favor.
Yeah.
You have Kukui, Diancie, and Beast Energy. It's not just 30.
Yeah,
but you get to go Marshadow, attach, and you cheese a win every time.
You cheese your way to this man cheesed his way to 10th place out of 600 people. What?
Marshadow attack.
Are you not getting Glaceon turn 1 with a Marshadow every single game? You're not winning.
if I'm not palming that card every single turn.
Has seeing Glaceon in day 2 made anyone have a second thought about the deck?
No.
Okay, good.
I want to play it, but
yeah.
It's not memey enough.
Okay, it's not memey enough.
Other things in the other category was the single Lost March. I just want to point out the day before LAIC, I tweeted my LAIC predictions are 1 Lost March will make day 2 and it will still suck. And then the guy that made day 2 posted his list and said this deck sucks. That was his caption.
If I may quote the great Peter Kika, this deck sucks.
Yeah, he was quoted in an article saying that.
On PokeStats. They asked, like, it was like Ryan Allred and some other people, and they wrote like an articulate reasoning, and then Peter just goes, this deck sucks. I love it. I love the idea. Connor Fenton off of ARG, he's a good friend of mine. He built a really solid list in testing, but it just doesn't. That's it. It just doesn't.
Does anyone like Lost March?
I like it.
Does anyone want to play Lost March at Roanoke?
No. Hell no.
Okay, great. And then the other thing pictured here, we had the Steelix Mill deck with Unknown Hand. The guy said that hand worked multiple times.
No, I think what was his exact wording? It was a lot.
Yeah, he used it a lot. And then there's also a picture of Regigigas on this pie chart.
Regigigas fucking...
And K-Trod, you said you can explain that?
Yeah.
I said I had a Regigigas.
Oh, and what does it do?
The meme master, please explain to us.
This Regigigas
Yeah.
has 180 HP,
Mhm.
and that's about it. And it's a non-GX. It doesn't really. It just sits there, and then you probably lose because your deck's bad. But
Yeah.
It's just a control deck. I'm staring at it. It's 4 Regigigas, 2 Genesect GX that you put.
2 tools at a time.
You put
I did actually.
2 frying pans on it.
Oh my god. Okay.
I did actually look at this deck. Genesect DX makes 0 sense. That card is actually terrible.
That card is the worst card in this.
Like, there's the Muck turns it off.
Yeah.
Lysander's Lab turns it off. Field Blower turns it off.
Yeah.
It's just an absolute dumpster fire.
But he still managed out of 600 people to get, 50 something?
He got
I mean, he
points and
doesn't
money
just play versus like Zoroark all
all day. Yeah.
All day.
Yeah, he probably cheesed people with the unknown hand the whole time. Now people know it's in the deck, and you're gonna
that guy-
shadow them when their hand's at like 20 cards.
I feel like
That guy
I'm
didn't play
gonna
Unknown
work
Hand.
Getting one though.
No, oh.
Yeah, there was this
Sorry.
Felix guy that
The
played Unknown Hand.
Gigas guy just somehow won game.
This Felix deck is
It's a Chris
better than the
miracle.
Genesect one.
I mean, there's always going to be one of these weird mill decks at every tournament, you know?
Yeah, I don't see how the Genesect deck wins.
Yeah. So, other than that, that's basically every deck that did reasonably well at LAIC. Let's talk about what you think the top 3 in popularity are. Hi, what do you think the top 3 popular archetypes are going to be at Roanoke?
Number 1, Buzzrock.
Okay. With Buzzrock with tails, like all of it combined, just Buzzwole variant.
I think it'll be the Lycanroc version over the Catcher version
I
for
agree.
popularity, and then I think both they'll be like first and second most popular, and
Both
then third will
Buzzwoles?
be
Zoroark is third?
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan?
I think in no order, Blacephalon, Buzzrock, and Malamar, probably. I have no idea like what will be the most played. Probably Buzzwole will be the most played.
Katron?
Buzzwole, Blacephalon, and Zoroark deck. I don't know which one.
Will it be Control?
Probably not.
Okay.
Definitely not Control.
Definitely.
Oh, if you're saying like a Zoroark deck in general, then Zoroark is probably number 1.
Yeah.
Like Zoroark decks overall?
Yeah, but if it's like a specific Zoroark deck, like Zoroark is probably number 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Justin, top 3 popularity.
I'm with Michael on this one. Buzzrock Tails, Blacephalon, and Zoro, fill in the blank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Arlo?
I'm gonna have to agree with everyone else with Buzzrock and Blacephalon choices, but I feel like we're gonna see a lot of Malamar, just because American players really like playing Malamar.
And it's a kind of obvious counter to all the Buzzwole that we're expecting as well. Like, if
Yeah.
you don't do the testing, you think you have an auto win. Even if you do the testing, it's still a good matchup.
Yeah, I think the people who you're gonna sit across from, I would say 1 or 2 people in the early rounds that went, well, I thought Buzzwole, blah blah blah, and you go,
Psychic Malamar.
Jet Punch. Good game.
good game.
So, top 3 popularity. Let's go pick 3 decks that you expect to see in top 8. 3 different archetypes. It could be differing variants as well. We'll start with Arlo this time.
I think we're going to see a Decidueye Ninetales deck. I think that will be for a top 8 deck, just because of its raw power once it gets set up. And then definitely we'll see a Buzzwole variant. And then, of course, we'll see a Zoroark variant. I think Zoroark will make a top 8 at this event.
Justin?
I think a Zoroark, I think a Buzzrock Tails will be in there, and I also think we're going to see a single prize deck. I think someone will perfect a single prize deck and pilot it to the top.
Okay. Michael?
I don't know what the question was.
Three decks that you expect to see in top 8.
To see in top 8, Buzzwole, Blacephalon, and Zoroark deck.
Okay. Ryan?
The same.
It's the same answer.
Okay.
Exactly what Michael said, pretty much.
Ty?
Buzzwole, Zoroark, TCG Ninetales, and Rainfall.
Granbull?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody's definitely gonna top it with that.
Yeah, I'm thinking Granbull too. That's on my list. Okay. I think we went pretty long. I don't have a timer. I forget when we started, but it's probably an hour or so. So first I'm gonna ask, does anyone have a deck that they wanted to bring to attention that we haven't talked about that we should be talking about? And then I'll ask for top choices and shoutouts. So Ty, anything?
Lapras Quagsire.
Oh,
Nice, that's what I wanted to hear.
Shoutouts to this guy.
Holy shit.
Lapras Quagsire. Do you think it's well positioned, or do you just like the deck?
I don't think it's bad. I mean, Quagsire is a great card, but like,
It is.
Yeah.
it's probably not great, but it's a fun meme.
If you were forced to play, so if someone was paying you $100,000 to enter with a Lapras deck, and you could build it however you want, would it have Naganadel in it or just Quag?
Absolutely
Hell
not.
yeah.
No chance. That card is so bad in Quagsire.
I mean, we're getting 100K. Why not?
Hang on, the question's for Ty.
I'd rather play like Solgaleo in it than the Naganadel.
Okay.
I'd rather play like PCE.
Okay.
That sounds great.
Lapras Solgaleo.
Okay, so
That's a theme
Lapras
deck.
Quag is Ty's rogue deck. Ryan, any decks we didn't mention?
I don't know. I played against the Shining Genesect Naganadel deck. It seemed pretty bad, but it seemed pretty cool too. So just wanted to say
All right,
that.
we'll write that one off with Glaceon.
Yeah.
Michael.
Well, I was gonna say Lapras, but
Right.
I don't have anything.
Ty sniped you.
Oh, dude.
Justin.
It's not good, but I say watch out for the like I would say the two handfuls of people who really want to play eggs. Like for some reason, average American players like really like eggs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people like it.
They're just like because like they're like, oh, it's like such a great card, and now that you have Shuckle.
So eggs.
Yeah, eggs.
Arlo. Anything we didn't
I
mention?
think the Magnezone with a Tech Dialga will be a top choice for some people just because it has a favorable Zoroark matchup in retrospect, even though I don't think so. But Magnezone is always one of those decks a lot of people like to play just because it does big damage.
Yeah, it blows things up.
It does big damage.
Okay, so what is your busted deck? What is the top play? If you have any rogues, feel free to keep them secret, but what's the busted deck, Ty?
Busted deck is easily Magnezone with that Dialga that does 16 devolves.
I was telling you about that, Luke. Yes.
What a
The
league!
most busted deck.
Broken
Oh
deck.
my
my
God.
road deck turns busted.
No, but what's your top play? Like, is that your top play?
Nah, top plays Buzzrock.
Buzzrock? Okay. Ryan?
Zoroark or Buzzrock, probably.
Michael?
Dialga Magnezone.
He has the card.
I got it sleeved up.
We have to believe him. Justin, busted deck?
Blacephalon or
You were?
I think Gascan and Gardevoir, Robin Schultz stuff is going to be my top pick just because I have a lot of experience with both of those decks, and I've only done good at regionals with decks I'm comfortable with.
Makes sense. Sorry, guys, for that little cut you're going to see in the video. My internet went out, but we resumed. Okay, so everyone's top choices. We got that out of the way. My top choice right now is my Coco deck from Flipside Gaming's article last week, and I've been giving every waking hour I have to it. Let's do shout-outs. Ty?
Shout out to nothing and follow me on Twitter.
Hell yeah. Arlo?
Shout out to the Ninja Gang, this new team we created, and my buddy's card shop, TNLG.
Nice. Justin.
Shout out to Flipside Gaming. Use code Celio for 10% off your purchase.
Phil Catron's line.
Michael, any shout outs?
I was gonna shout out code Felia, where you can get 10% off your next order at flipsidegaming.com. But I guess I'll shout out Wes Hollenberg and Alex Shemansky and Isaiah Bradner then.
Word. There's some busted players.
Busted.
Ryan.
Busted.
Ryan.
Shout out to Nick Ungorian.
Okay, hell yeah. Thanks for watching, Nick. Yeah, I'd just like to say that I'm proud of everyone for not saying busted a million times throughout this video.
Phil set up a counter. I'm sure you're going to set it.
You're lucky I forgot.
I'm pretty sure this video went way longer than I expected. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Thanks for everyone that came on. Hope you guys got some knowledge and education to help you Roanoke out of this. And we'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.